Yo, JD here to Olimus, and as you can see we're AOR round 6 of season 10 here today at Monaco, and you can see now we're in qualifying, going for our first run, and we've already gone into the wall, so it's not a great start to this qualifying, because qualifying around here really can make the difference between you actually winning the race and losing it. It's really that important, and for me, you may think that would mean I would be doing quite a bit of practice, but I was actually really ill, and before this race and actually during this race, and still quite a bit of time after this race as well, I was pretty ill, so I didn't actually do any practice until about 2 hours before the race, which is something you don't really want to do around here. So before this qualifying session, my actual PB, or in practice, is what on the limit for a first corner, really attacking that corner, which is what you really do need to do to get a good first sector. But before this race, it was like a 10.7 or 8 or something, so really felt unprepared for this race. I hadn't actually done any race pace either. All I did was just qualifying, because I know how important that is. So we hadn't even really touched the prime tyres. We just did maybe a couple of laps on them just during the first stint, but that was it. So it was pretty much all down to trying to prepare for qualifying, but I only had a few sessions of this, so I felt probably the most unprepared I've ever felt. But I knew I needed to do really well, because Martin, we managed to beat him last race, as you can see in the previous highlights there, and we really need to just keep up this momentum. But obviously through him, doing a fair amount of practice around here, posting a hot lap of a 9.7, which arguably could be quicker in GP mode. Obviously it clearly shows that he's got the pace around here, so we really need to shut him down in this race. And I felt confident, because I really do want to win this championship so much, and I want this really badly. And I know I always talk about mind games, but I really do feel if you want something and you put 100% effort into it, then good things can happen for you. So we have come actually 4th place in this qualifying session with a 10.3, a really good lap. And Martin's actually down in 6th place, so he made a few mistakes in his lap, but in the end we're the highest pad runner. The 2 guys in front of us are on wheels, which is, actually there's 3 guys in front of us. Orbit Pryor is actually on a pad, sorry. But Yi and NLR Evo are actually on wheels, when the wheel around here is definitely quite a bit faster in the race. So we're not really too worried about them. I was really not focusing on them. I was trying to be the highest pad runner possible. As we get a good start here, Orbit Pryor in front of us. So Jason, our teammate, providing a little bit of protection behind us. But we're going to leave some space on the inside, because I know it's very easy to lock up. So just anticipating Jason maybe perhaps locking up there, but we've got Martin actually attacking Jason, so this is not what we want. We want to stay ahead of Martin this race, and that is the game plan. What I came into this race is just to beat Martin. That's all I was looking to do, is just to beat Martin this race, just to keep up momentum, keep drawing back those points in the championship. If I can beat him round here, and when it's a very good track for him, but and a really not so good track for me, that would really boost my confidence. And with the next few tracks coming up, or for the rest of the tracks throughout the season really, they're definitely a lot more suited to me. And I've just felt a new groove in this game, just changing the setup slightly, and just how I actually come into the race. I think in the first 4 races I really let my own mistakes get to me, because I was making quite a few mistakes through not really practicing as much as I have in previous seasons. I was letting those get to me. I was being quite harsh on myself, but ever since Australia I've really just tried to just zone out from it, and just tried to focus on the race, one race at a time, and not watch the stream while I'm doing the race as well. Just being completely focused on what I am actually doing, and it really has in the past couple of races it's really worked for me, and that's a strategy that I'm going to keep doing. As you can see, Orbit Pryor has made a mistake there, so we're actually up into 3rd place. The 2 wheel drivers are gone at the moment, so we are the highest pad runner, and we are on the podium, which I would have, if someone said that to me before the race, that you could be guaranteed the podium out here, I would have took that, because I was actually saying before the race that I was happily to accept that I was going to get 0 points around here, because I felt that unprepared for the race. I was actually, any point would have been a fairly good result to take away. But we can see here we're in 3rd place, and Martin's actually 1.8 seconds behind, and we've actually maintained that gap until the pit stops now. So we're coming on to lap 8, or the end of lap 8, and Martin, I believe, has gone into the pit, so he's going to go for the undercut around here, something he does like to do quite often. But around here the undercut can be crucial, because track position, even though you may have slightly older tyres than someone, it is almost impossible to overtake round here unless you do a few really ballsy moves. But round here it is pretty much next to impossible to overtake. So if you have track position over someone, and plus when you're behind someone with the dirty air as well, it's actually going to make you make more mistakes as well. And the risk of, if you get a piece of damage around here as well, I mean, it'll probably about half a second a lap you'll lose just from losing an end plate or two. Can really almost destroy a race. So coming out of the pits now is crucial, as Martin's actually coming out here. So we had a really good in lap. Got to make sure we can try and stay as possible. We actually hit the wall on the exit of that as well. But we're really lucky. And we did not get any damage though, because if we did, then I'm pretty sure Martin would have overtaken us pretty quickly. But we've actually got Unleashed behind. So Martin didn't actually have, well, we didn't really close in that much because our tyres are still relatively fresh. And we're actually driving really well, because in practice I wasn't really driving at this, and when it came down to it, it's just when you just learn the track for the first time, something just switches where you just feel really comfortable. And because I had track position, I was ahead of Martin, and I have the fresher tyres as well, psychologically and actually physically it's an advantage. And you can see Unleashed has made a bit of mistakes, and Martin's now got into 6th place, and we've got a bit of a lead in him as well, so it's swinging into our favour. And I know if I don't make any mistakes at this point, then he's got to do all the hard work. He's got to get my dirty air. He's got to make the move, out traction me off the corners around here, which is going to be very difficult whilst being on old tyres and dirty air as well. Unless I make a huge mistake, he's really got to rely on his undercut to actually overtake me, because in terms of actually overtaking me on the track, actually wheel to wheel, it's going to be really difficult for him. So I know right now I've just got to be consistent. So in qualifying you've got to go absolutely to the wall 100%, but in the race right now we are driving quite fast at the moment. This is me pushing pretty hard, really, to just not let Martin get within DRS at all. And you can see we're actually going purple, and I'm just going to stay on board for this lap, and because this was a quick lap for me, just showing you how I was actually driving throughout the whole race as well. I'm just giving you an indicator of what I'm actually doing each lap. So things are going well. I'm pushing quite hard this lap, and because, as I said, I just want to just increase that gap. And really just, as I always keep on saying about momentum, if you can just start to eke that gap on someone, it's very hard for them to actually close that gap down. So you can see going through a second sector split now, see if it's still purple. We are still purple going through here. First gear, short shift to second, make sure we get the turn in, and we are just slightly putting away at the moment. But I know Martin is extremely quick right here, so despite him having the older tyres, I know that he could still potentially close up on us. But I know towards the end of the stint we should have a fairly big advantage, because my setup is really based on traction around here. So bit of a lock up, but we actually set the fastest lap of the race, actually putting away from Martin a few tenths in that last sector as well. So we are driving consistent, and I knew now, since I had the gap, is really just to not really do anything stupid, really just to try and keep it under control. But Yi has actually pitted from second place, so we actually are in second place at the moment with Martin. We've actually slowly started to actually pull away from him by a couple of seconds as well, so our consistency has been really good. But Yi behind us on much fresher tyres, with him also being on the wheel as well. In my mind, I'm not really going to fight here, so we're actually going to stay tight to the right, not really go fight. We're going to brake quite early, but since it's so tight, we're going to give him the room, not really go try and go straight on or anything. We're just going to give him that position, because for me, I am thinking about the championship. I don't really want to be involved in the battle with a wheel driver who's got 4 lap fresher tyres than me or something like that, because I know it's going to be me just constantly being defensive, which is going to create us to lose quite a bit of time, and me run the risk of me actually damaging a part of the car for just locking up, or him making a move and making contact. Is really just not worth the risk. We can see here now we've actually extended the gap to 5.2 seconds to Martin, so we've extended that gap pretty nicely. And coming out of the pits now, lap 25, Martin's actually pitted 2 laps earlier than us, and you can see the gap has come down, and the undercut through those 2 laps have definitely worked out for him. So he's within a second of us now. He is within our DRS, and this is his best opportunity to really get past me, because I've just come out of the pits. My tyres are not up to the temperature as much as his, and he's got nothing to lose really at the moment. He's got to really push me into mistakes. So you can see we're going to use a bit of our curves. And right now I was just thinking, you just really just got to stay composed, because unless you make a major mistake, he should not be getting past you. As we go a little bit deep into that corner, and you see he's going to try and go inside of us, go to turn, moving to the left slightly a bit there. but he's actually going to stay behind us through this twisty section, and from here there's pretty much no opportunity to overtake. Try and stay within the limits there as we do quite nicely, as he's actually made a bit of a mistake there. So as I said, following cars around this track is really difficult, and now we actually have 2 lap fresher tyres in him as well. So if we can just keep the consistency as we have done throughout this race, then it really should be game on for a podium, which is a result I would be absolutely thrilled with. If someone said that to me before the race, as I said, I would have definitely taken that before. So you can see the gap, he's still staying with us fairly nicely. Go use quite a bit of his curves going up the hill, but we're just using half of it just to really just counter him off on there. But all we've got to do now, what I was thinking at this point, is really just stay calm and just not really make many mistakes, but we do hit the wall there, and really just try not to damage our wing at all as much as possible till the end of the race. So if we could just keep this up, it should be fairly set on some good haul points. As we skip on to lap 29 now, we actually are out of the DRS zone, and Yi is actually behind. So Yi has pitted later than us again, so he is going to be on a lot fresher tyres than us. And it's the same really mindset as I had before. He's going to be, I believe he's actually on option tyres as well, so he's going to be even quicker, probably about second and a half or more quicker per lap. So Martin, you can see, we started to eke out a gap on him just through being really consistent. We've got Yi all over us now, so almost hitting the wall there. So Yi's alongside us, and we're just going to brake early, and we're just going to let him pass because there's no point battering him. And I know some people thought on stream that I did let him pass. That's just me just confirming that I did let him pass, because I was thinking about the long game in the championship. I really just didn't need to get in a battle with him where I could potentially, both of us coming off worse, getting some damage which would enable Martin to get past me, or a DNF or anything like that. That's the last thing I need. So really just making sure I can secure that podium, to just keep on closing the Martin. That's what we really need to do in the next few races or throughout the rest of this championship, is really just to focus on ourselves and really just take it one race at a time, and just keep hitting those consistent points, because we have had a podium every single race this season so far. So if we can keep that consistency, then it should be looking good towards the end of the season. But now we have lost a little bit of time to Martin again through letting you pass, but you can see lap 34 now, we have created a bit of a gap again. So now his tyres are starting to go off, and we've just been really consistent as well. We have got 5 laps left to go, 3.8 seconds behind, and you'll be able to see here now just the gap, or how much it changes per lap. I think we're going to stay on board for the rest of this lap, just so you can see the gap that we are eating out. And I felt really surprised myself, because as I said in practice, didn't really do that much practice for this race. Despite this not being a great track of mine, I probably should have done quite a bit of practice, but everything just seemed to come together for me, because I was just so determined. Once I did get on, and once I was in the qualifying session itself, I just knew that if I just drive my own race, and I believe in myself really, and I know if I drive well in a race, and if I drive the best that I can, then most times I know I can win a race, unless it's around here with a wheel. I know at most tracks, if I do drive my absolute best, then I know I can race with the very best and challenge for the win at most tracks. So I knew around here, if I just kept it consistent and just had a good qualifying and managed to get ahead of him, then I knew that I could stay in front. And this race, I've just managed to just execute my strategy and just my consistency really well. As you can see here, we're actually gaining, or putting away almost a second lap on Martin now. And you can see he's dropping back quite quickly now, so he's 6.1 seconds behind now. So his tyres are definitely slowly starting to go off now. But you can see we're being really consistent, a tenth quicker than our last lap. So you can see the consistencies there, nailing the apexes up into rich mix. We've still got fuel for the end of the race as well, but the two-wheel drivers in front, they're absolutely gone, because they are pretty much no competition. And with a pad runner in this game, 2014, you could be in a competition with wheel drivers around there, but on this game, it's pretty much impossible to win with a pad around here. So we are the highest round of a pad. We're on the podium, going around the last corner now, just trying not to hit the wall or anything like that. And we're really happy with this, as Leobot's actually got into fourth. Martin, I think his tyres has completely just melted down. We have actually come third, with Martin actually in 6th place, so that is a good haul points for us for the championship. And I was really happy with this race, because as I said, this track is not a track I really do enjoy driving that much, just my personal preference. But to get a podium around here for 6 podiums in a row now this season is really, really good, because I'm so determined to win this championship and I want it so badly. So this race was a very good result for me, with Silverstone coming up next, because Canada will not be on the calendar because of corner cutting. So Silverstone will be up next, which is probably my personal favourite track of mine. So hope you guys enjoyed this race. There wasn't really too much action, but it was a very important race for the championship. As always, thank you for the support. Just hit 1 million views on the channel now as well, which is absolutely amazing. It's a milestone I've wanted to hit ever since I started making the channel. So thank you so much for that, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.